Hi, and welcome to Second Edition. I'm Erin Bezovi.
And I'm Jennifer Amstead.
Today we're joined by the Skulrinka Mahoney Irish Dance School, and they're going to show us a couple moves.
But you guys stick around to the end to see those.
First, we've got news with Spencer Payne and Natasha Bruin.
Sports with David Adamakulanza.
And then we've got a cool little segment about how to survive a hangover. With St. Patrick's Day, I think that'd probably be really helpful.
It'll be helpful. And then we have a movie review and lots more.
So stay tuned.
Welcome to Second Edition. Japan has been hit by one of its worst natural disasters.
Japan is probably the country most well-equipped to deal with earthquakes, but not even that could prevent this disaster. On March 11th, Japan was struck by a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake. The fifth largest earthquake ever recorded occurred just northeast of the Japanese coastline outside the city of Sendai. The quake triggered a massive tsunami that eventually struck land. The wave of water acted as an unstoppable wall, tearing away everything in its path. You can see cars, buses, even houses all swept away. The impact of the disaster has also been felt here at home.
I wish I was back home, but I'm hoping that my dad and my brother would just take care of my mom and everything will be okay. I'll see them in the summer.
Yeah, just be patient, I guess, and make sure my family's safe.
It is estimated possibly 10,000 people have lost their lives in this tragedy. 8 university students are facing the difficulties of homelessness, all for a good cause. It's all a part of a unique fundraiser focused on raising awareness and funds for Edmonton's Youth Emergency Shelter Society. The U of A and MacEwan students are spending 5 nights homeless as a part of their awareness program. They're following some pretty strict rules in order to get the full experience. The only food or water available to them is that which is donated. Hygiene also takes a dive since they're not allowed to use a shower, and they'll have to spend all 5 nights sleeping outdoors. The students are weathering the cold nights, trying to shed light on youth homelessness.
It's never youth's fault that they're in a bad situation or they have a bad home situation or their parents have issues. So it's never their fault that they're in those types of situations, and I think it's really important to support them so that they can have a successful future.
If you would like to contribute to the students' cause, you can donate online at www.5days.ca. With spring just around the corner, ice is beginning to melt off of our streets.
But with the warm weather comes another hazard for drivers. Drivers can expect to have a bumpy ride this spring. With the constant warming and cooling trends we've seen, conditions have been perfect for potholes. Potholes can cause pretty significant damage if you hit one the right way. You may not even need to be traveling at high speeds to wind up in the shop. One automotive service technician explains how even low speeds can have an effect.
I would say less than 10 kilometers per hour can damage steering suspension components.
If you spot a pothole that needs repairing, you can always let the city know by dialing 311. If your vehicle becomes damaged due to potholes, you can always make claims online at www.edmonton.ca. While college students may not be known for their healthy eating habits, some might be starting to change their ways after this past week's nutrition awareness campaign at NATE. Occupational health and safety were in hand to give out health and nutrition tips to staff and students. According to OHS, students might want to improve their diets by cutting out their bad habits.
Fast food, the energy drinks, making sure they're not getting enough water. Definitely vegetables. There's a lack of vegetables in students' diets right now.
What many people may not know is what the correct food intake is for the average person. On a daily basis, a person should eat a fist-sized amount of fruit, a palm-sized amount of protein, 2 handfuls of vegetables, and only enough fat to cover the tip of the thumb. Whether this is close to your daily consumption or not, knowing the facts about nutrition will go a long way in staying healthy. One of the best ways to learn is through hands-on experience, and NACE culinary students had the chance to do just that this past week with international chef Cesar Lee. Chef Lee was the Hokanson chef in residence for the Hospitality and Culinary Arts program. He was able to have one-on-one time with each of the students. Chef Lee and students prepared an exclusive 3-course luncheon for a lucky few on Wednesday. The master chef left Edmonton with a positive outlook on the future of the culinary arts.
Oh, I think there's so much future because there are more hospitality, more hotel, more restaurant, and more style of food industry are opening. And I think, kids with them, there's so much future. as long as they stay with it.
You may have heard about a possible increase in beer prices, but you might not need to run to the liquor store just yet. Due to the flooding in Canada and Australia, the supply of wheat and barley, which are main ingredients used to make beer, has become limited. This deficit is predicted to result in an increase in the price of beer. However, this might not be the case.
The ingredients are actually in the beer, they're not really the most expensive stuff.
Even with the increase in barley costs, Canada is estimated to export around 4 million tons of barley this year.
Don't forget, price of beer goes up each year, a little bit, by a few cents. And it has been, but I think that's all it's going to be, actually. I don't think there'll be any more than that.
And now we have David Adamaco-Ansa joining us at the news desk.
David, what do you have for us in sports?
Well, we've got some basketball, both local and national. We've got some roller derby, and a popular Pittsburgh player practices on the ice. Up next in sports. After winning the ACAC championships on the 6th, Nate's men's basketball team is preparing for nationals in Ontario. Though the Utes finished with gold, they still have some work that needs to be done for the upcoming tournament, scheduled for March in Oshawa, Ontario.
We've been definitely focusing on our individual breakdown skills and a lot of defense and rebounding. Rebounding and offensive transition are probably the most things we work on right now.
Improving their overall game isn't the only thing on their minds. Ultimately, the Utes are going with one goal in mind, and that's to win.
We're trying to win. We're not going there to just waste our time. Like as any athlete, I mean, if you're going somewhere, you want to win. There's no point. There's no participation ribbons. Like this is serious grown men playing basketball for their school, for their city. Like they need to get stuff done.
Basketball fans in Edmonton can definitely feel the energy. GM Rick Stanley held a press conference announcing the team's new coach, Skousen Harker.
It's with my pleasure and complete 100% excitement that we are able to introduce our new head coach today, Skousen Harker.
Coach Harker and a few local players are excited to be back and start the season.
After our last game last year, Coach Paul Sir mentioned that we won't remember the wins and we won't remember the losses, but we will remember the relationships.
You know, excited here to just try and get things going, and hopefully we can try and bring a championship to the City of Champions.
We've been playing at a championship level for the past 4 years. Every year we played. So excited for Mr. Rick Stanley to jump on board and help us. Skousen Harker is an incredible competitor in the locker rooms, and now he's our coach. He's the best guy for the job.
The Edmonton Energy kick off their season in May in Albany, New York. First in the East, and with the luck of the Irish on their side this week, the Boston Celtics took to the parquet floor of the Gardens against their rivals, the Indiana Pacers. Some Celtic players showing some brotherly love before tip-off. In the first quarter, Rajon Rondo passes to Jeff Green for the tray. Speaking of Green, I'm loving those St. Paddy's Day jerseys, very festive. Ray Allen drains a three-pointer during a 13-2 Celtics run. And here's another one for you. It was raining cats and dogs behind the arc. In the second quarter, a little tic-tac-toe between Allen and Kevin Garnett. Ray would get the bucket, plus the foul. To the third quarter of the game, it wasn't just the big three contributing in this game, as Boston's bench joined in on the fun. The Celtics end up beating the Pacers by a score of 92-80. Well, Pittsburgh Penguins fans have something to cheer about. Pens captain Sidney Crosby was seen skating on the ice for 15 minutes at Consol Energy Center. This is the first time he suited up since the 5th, and after his concussion 2 months ago. Crosby missed 29 consecutive games. There's no word yet on when he will return. There's a new sport that has women in Edmonton rolling around in excitement.
It's a full contact, all women's sport. It's kind of got a punk rock sensibility to it, as well as being like the actual having to have a skill level to play it.
A lot of women here say they're here not just for a workout, but to have fun and meet other women like themselves.
It's a really, really good sport for women. Like I'm not an athletic person at all, so it was really nice to get out and like meet some nice women and get to wear cute outfits and skate around. I don't know, it's fun.
Currently, there are 4 teams within the Eville Roller Derby that attract over 450 fans per game. And that's it for sports. For Second Edition News, I'm David Adamarco-Ansa.
Did you know, in Ireland, it's tradition to pick up a birthday child, turn him or her upside down, and bump the child's head gently against the floor for each year of the child's age, plus an extra bump for luck? And in the olden days of Ireland, families had a pet pig that would live in the house. Starting a fight by punching someone in the face in Ireland is considered a friendly greeting, but throwing a drink in their face is grossly insulting and carries the death penalty. To prevent illegal immigration into the country, Irish Border Patrol members guard the country's beaches by hurling empty whiskey bottles at swimmers. Did you know Ireland was first known as Angerland because of the irritable temperament of Irish people? St. Patrick changed it to Ireland to sound more sophisticated. You know, I love St. Patrick's Day, but I hate the hangover the next morning.
You know our reporter Sean? He knows how you feel. He went out and found out how to survive a hangover, and he's got some tips for us.
Some of us may know the feeling of waking up after a long and alcohol-filled night out with your friends. The painful headache, the blurry vision, and your stomach in a knot. Oh, and the nausea too. Jace Sahara is a first-year instrumentation student at NAIT. Jace likes to work hard at school, but when the weekend rolls around, he also likes to play hard. He has an interesting take on how to survive a hangover.
Most of the time, depends what's happening the next day. I usually get up and have another beer and orange juice to help me out, and then I just start drinking over again most of the time.
Jace's solution for a hangover may be a bit obscure for some, so I talked to Karen Neiman of Occupational Health and Services for some more healthier tips on how to rid your hangover.
Sipping fruit juice or some kind of a bouillon to replace the electrolytes that you might be losing might be a good idea, and lots of water like we talked about. Having a snack, so bland foods, toast, crackers, that kind of thing can be helpful as well to kind of calm and settle the stomach. And heading back to bed, sleeping it off is really advantageous as well.
As for Jace, he says he won't let a hangover stop him. He plans to keep drinking beer, after beer, after beer, after beer, after beer.
Well, those tips were sure helpful. I hope I never have to suffer a hangover ever again.
With those tips, I think I can afford to have another drink.
Yeah, let's go get some drinks.
If we hurry back, we'll make it in time for Ernest, right after the break.
Feeling a little blue? Well, nothing boosts your confidence like winning, and it's easy on NR92.com. Just listen or check out our website to win. You're a winner with NR92.com, the station for the students, by the students.
Doctor, I'm losing hope. I've searched everywhere. I'm never gonna find the one.
Well, why don't we take a look back at your past relationships?
I don't understand.
Just be patient. Maybe you haven't found your flavor yet.
Allow me?
Thank you.
Find your rock. Big Rock.
Canada, a beer that makes you smile. Big Rock.
Hi, and welcome to Cooking with Ernest. I'm Erin Bazovi, and I'm joined here with Chef Alan. And today he's going to tell us a little bit about charcuterie. Is that the right way to say it?
Yep, charcuterie, which is basically any type of preserved meat, especially cured meats like ham and bacon, sausages and cold cuts like we have here.
So what do we have here today?
We have 3 cold cuts that are all of Italian origin. The first one here is mortadella.
Mortadella. Okay.
Yeah, basically what it is pork, meat, and fat that have not only been ground, but also worked into a paste. You can see that it has a really fine, even texture.
Okay.
Once they have that paste, they fold in these little cubes of pork fat, and traditionally they also add like olives and pistachios and things like that. That paste is stuffed into a casing, it's poached and then chilled, and then we can slice it and eat it on a platter like this.
It actually looks a lot like bologna to me. Is
Yep.
there any similarities?
It is distantly related to bologna, but is vastly superior flavor-wise and texturally too.
Okay. And what do we have next?
The next one here is bresaola. It's unique in the charcuterie world because it's made of beef instead of pork. It's basically one muscle taken from the leg of the cow that's been packed with salt and herbs, and then that cure is washed off and it's hung in a cellar for months until it's dried all the way through. It's very firm, and so you have to cut it like paper thin to be able to eat it.
So because it's made from a muscle, does that mean it's like harder to eat, or?
No, all meat would be made from muscles of animals for sure. It definitely has a different texture being one solid muscle instead of the ground meat like the other two.
Okay, and what is this last one that we have?
The last one is Genoa salami. It has a very distinctive tanginess to it, and they get that by adding bacterial culture and sugar to the mix. And the bacteria eat the sugar and produce lactic acid, which gives it its characteristic tang.
And I also see that there's some peppers in there?
Yeah, it's usually spiced traditionally with white peppercorns, but you can see they've used black pepper here.
Oh, interesting. So with this one and that one, you don't have to cook them at all?
No, definitely not. They've been cured, so eat them raw.
Hello? Hey, it's Alexis.
Oh, hey, Alexis.
How's hosting going?
Oh, hosting's going well. You know, the usual. How's producing?
Good, good. I'm in Ireland.
You're in Ireland?
How are you in Ireland? You're supposed to be producing our show.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not actually in Ireland. I'm just enjoying the views from this cool website I found.
Oh.
To start your tour, go to www.lookaroundireland.com. There's a menu bar at the top of the screen to help you navigate easily. Click on the drop menu of Ireland Travel Guide and select Virtual Tour. It's okay if you don't have a suitcase yet, we will worry about that later. From here, a list of places will show up. Choose your destination. Use the mouse to navigate through the tour, and you can zoom in to find all the best photo places. Oh, and another cool thing is the golf jokes. You should probably remember a few of these. I hear they're pretty big over there. Once you have an idea of where you like best, select the Book With Us tab on the menu bar. You can find all the things you need on your trip. Oh, and that's where the suitcase comes in. Now, unfortunately, as a producer, I don't have much time for trips. But hey, a girl can daydream, right?
Man, what a boring game.
Yeah, man, I feel you. Yo, Brent, check out that honey with the red.
Oh, yeah. Kind of that Irish look, yeah. With the red hair.
Hey, Laura. That guy's totally checking you out.
Really? You think so?
Definitely.
You go for that.
You think?
You go for that. Yeah, she's all yours.
You know what? Maybe I will.
Mm-hmm. She's all
Yeah,
yours.
I think I will. I'm not getting any younger, man.
You know, there's nothing wrong with an older man.
No, I guess not, hey? You know, this whole situation, it kind of reminds me of a movie.
Wait a minute. You know, this whole scenario kind of reminds me of a movie I saw.
Shake it, baby! Do the stomach thing. Woo!
P.S. I Love You stars Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank as Jerry and Holly Kennedy, a young married couple deeply in love. When Jerry's life ends at a young age, Holly's world is turned upside down.
I could get reported. By who? The Leprechaun Union?
Much to her surprise, Jerry planned ahead and left her letters to help her deal with her loss and rediscover herself. The first one arrives on her birthday and sets her on a course to relive their relationship in the hopes that she can then move on with her life. The letters provide her with emotional support and include tasks she must accomplish, including going back to Ireland, where they first met. Each letter builds on the one before, distancing her further and further from Jerry, with Jerry's ultimate goal being Holly finding the strength to move on and start a new life. With an all-star cast, including Lisa Kudrow and Kathy Bates in supporting roles, the performances were impressive. I really loved watching Holly evolve through the various stages of grief and felt her pain, her sadness, and eventually her peace with Jerry's death. The movie had me on an emotional roller coaster, full of laughter and tears.
I went into this movie thinking quote-unquote chick flick, but it actually wasn't as formulaic and melodramatic as I thought it might be. The characterizations are good, and performances by Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank are emotional and strong, drawing the viewer in. Even though the movie revolves around someone's death, it is actually a feel-good movie, and after having seen it, you find your spirit lifted. We give it 3 four-leaf clovers out of 5.
Wow.
That was kind of embarrassing.
Thanks for joining us here on Second Edition. I'm Jennifer Amstead.
And I'm Erin Bizovi.
Youth Emergency Shelter Society. That's hard to say.